Video. Imagine 250 years ago. There was a land where people worked tirelessly, but their fate was decided. Thousands of miles away in London, these people paid heavy taxes, followed harsh laws, yet had no say in how they were governed. This was North America, where 13 British colonies existed, living under the shadow of an empire that saw them as mere subjects, not citizens. But over time, a spark began to ignite within these people, a desire for freedom, for a future where their voices mattered. The British Crown kept tightening its grip. More taxes, more restrictions, and still no representation. The colonies would shout, "No taxation without representation," but their voices echoed into silence. Eventually, they realized that change would not come through requests and petitions. It would come through resistance. It would come through revolution. In 1775, these 13 colonies took a step that would change the world forever. They declared war against the British Empire, the most powerful military force of that era. It seemed like a hopeless battle. Poorly equipped farmers and tradesmen were now going up against trained British soldiers. But amidst this struggle, a leader emerged, a man named George Washington. He wasn't just a general, he was a symbol of unity. Through cold winters, scarce supplies, and crushing defeats, Washington stood tall. His resilience became the backbone of the revolution. While Washington fought on the battlefield, another revolutionary fought with words. Thomas Jefferson, a young visionary, was entrusted with crafting a declaration that would define their cause. On July 4, 1776, Jefferson penned the Declaration of Independence, boldly stating that all men are created equal, and that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness were rights that no king could deny. These words weren't just sentences. On paper, they were a battle cry for freedom-loving people across the world. But winning the war was only half the battle. Once independence was declared, the colonies faced an even bigger challenge: how to build a nation from scratch. Each colony had its own interests, its own identity, and the fear of losing control to a central authority. This was a fragile moment. Without careful leadership, the newly born United States could have fallen apart. That's when a group of extraordinary individuals, known as the Founding Fathers, came together. Washington, Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, and Alexander Hamilton. Each brought a unique strength to the table. Franklin, with his diplomacy, secured France's support, turning the tide of war. Madison, a brilliant thinker, became the architect of the Constitution. Hamilton, a financial genius, laid the foundations of America's economy, ensuring the new nation wouldn't collapse under debt. In 1787, James Madison drafted the U.S. Constitution. It was a masterstroke of balance, giving states their own rights and autonomy while uniting them under a federal government. This document didn't just organize a government, it organized a vision of democracy that would inspire nations for centuries to come. But America's journey didn't stop there. After independence, the United States began expanding its borders. Through the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, the country doubled in size. Texas joined in 1845. Followed by California in 1848. In 1867, Alaska was bought from Russia, and finally, Hawaii became the 50th state in 1959. Each expansion wasn't just about acquiring land, it was about building the idea of a united nation, state by state. Whose role was the greatest in making America. History often points to George Washington as the father of the nation. Without his leadership, the colonies may never have survived the Revolution. But the truth is, it was a collective effort. Jefferson's words gave America its soul. Franklin's diplomacy gave it allies. Madison's Constitution gave it structure. Hamilton's financial systems gave it stability. Today's America is the result of their shared vision of a land where government derives its power from the consent of the governed, where freedom is a birthright, not a privilege. This is not just the story of America's creation. It's a story of how ordinary people, with extraordinary determination, can stand against empires, craft their own destiny, and change the course of history. The United States of America was not built in a day. It was forged through passion, sacrifice, and a relentless belief in liberty. The Founding Fathers dreamed of a nation where people ruled themselves, where justice was blind, and where every citizen had a voice. That dream became a reality because they dared to fight for it. The next time you see the American flag, remember it's not just a piece of cloth. It's a symbol of an idea that was born in the hearts of a few brave individuals who believe that freedom is worth everything. Do you want me to also give you a USPO-style dramatic voiceover dialogue version of this in English?